what's up guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, then welcome to our little corner of the internet. Today we're going to be watching a video titled 10 states with the most natural disasters. I don't know how I feel about the natural disasters in America because it's pretty wild. Like, it's actually pretty wild to have like tornado seasons and stuff like that. You guys are built different. I'm guessing at least Florida will be on this list. And maybe Alaska, and I mean there's 10 states. I don't know, we'll see what this video is about.
You know how sometimes really big things happen in nature that have the potential to really screw up your week? Well, these things are called natural disasters. They happen suddenly, and they can wreck things like buildings, land, even people's life. In the United States, we face various types of natural disasters. Some of the usual ones are floods, hurricanes, earthquakes, tornadoes, wildfires, blizzards, tsunamis.
Some of the usual ones.
And Gary Busey interviews.
Talk about buttered sausage, where it comes from, what it does.
This is a subject I'm asked about all the time. If that's something you need to know about, I'm gonna give you this video, but there's also a website I go to for a lot of this information. It's replaced Zillow as my favorite website. It's called Where Might I Live? And they got this wish list function. You could put down what you require. You don't want a bunch of natural disasters. You want low crime. You want good schools. Put all that in and it spits out which counties in the United States are best suited for your criteria.
Oh my goodness, that's such a good idea for a stream. If you don't follow me on Twitch yet, by the way, the link is in the description if you want to come see me live. I want to do that.
Not sponsoring this video, I just think it's a pretty cool website. There's a link in the description area below. Anyway, back to the natural disasters. When these disasters strike, they can mess up a lot of things. Houses can be destroyed, and businesses can lose a bunch of money that might take them years to recover from. Now, it's just not the loss of money and housing and all that. Some people go through one too many natural disasters in an area, and they decide it's time to move someplace else. I know more than a few people in Southern California that have moved because of the wildfires. Today we're looking at the states that reported the most natural disasters in 2022. Now, I'm also including how many times the federal government declared a natural disaster in a state since they started reporting those in 1953. Got it? Get it? Good. Let's take a look. Number 10, New Jersey. New Jersey's had a lot of disasters. Not all of them are natural. You have the MTV show Jersey Shore, that was a disaster. You had all kinds of super fun sites back in the day. And there's a place called Camden, New Jersey. But the
New Jersey is one of the places that I most likely will visit pretty soon when I start traveling and seeing America, because we might know people there, maybe. I don't know. Gotta ask my dad. But I just remember this being mentioned.
Natural disasters come from New Jersey's densely populated coast. It's vulnerable to flooding, storm surges, erosion, rising sea levels, and during certain months and certain years, the water gets a little warm and gets a little tropical and kind of sucks hurricanes up that direction. They've been hit with quite a few over their history. Storm Surge Sandy was the worst natural disaster in New Jersey's history. It caused
tornado. No, I mean, what is it called?
$83.9 billion in damages and 43 fatalities back in October of 2012. Hurricane Ida, which was...
Hurricanes. Right. I was about to say, well, that tsunamis is one of the things that I'm most scared of, I think, when it comes to natural disasters. Maybe that doesn't happen in America, though, but that's like one of my biggest fears. I even have nightmares of like looking out from my window and seeing like the huge wave coming. Yeah.
Was the remnants of Hurricane Ida when it finally hit New Jersey. In 2021, it cost $80.2 billion in damage. And then, of course, Hurricane Irene hit in 2011. That took about $17 billion in damages. They've also had Hurricane Ivan in 2004 that cost about $32 billion in damages. So they've had some damage done to them by Mother Nature. The statistics that were released in 2022 were actually 2021 numbers. And that year, New Jersey declared 47 natural disaster areas, which sometimes included calling out the National Guard, things of that nature. Now, when it gets serious, like Superstorm Sandy, Hurricane Ida, and all those other ones, that's when the federal government gets involved and helps out. Every state has a handful of state emergencies every single year. But New Jersey called out 47 in 2021, and the federal government has called out 50 since it started reporting these in 1953.
Wow. Wow.
Number 9, Kansas. Kansas has a lot of things going on there. Tornadoes being the biggest one, flooding also, then you get ice storms, lightning strikes that normally cause some form of fire, flash flooding, droughts, winter storms, all that good stuff. Kansas ranks 2nd place for tornadoes.
Wow, look at how pretty it looks. Oh, I like Kansas. Have I watched videos on Kansas? I don't think so. It's so pretty. It kind of looks like Finland. Kind of does though. Trust me.
From the years 1997 to 2022. They're ahead of Oklahoma and behind Texas. Yeah, Texas saw the most in that time. Now, back in the day, Kansas had some serious problems. They had an earthquake in 1867 in Manhattan, Kansas. 1875, they had a major locust swarm, which you don't hear that too often. And of course, in 1935, the Dust Bowl. Kansas is most famous for its tornadoes, thanks.
That just reminded me that I just had a dream about an earthquake as well, like a week ago. I felt an earthquake once in my life, but it was very not so, like it was not a huge earthquake. But I had a dream that there was a huge one. Why do I dream about natural disasters so much when I haven't really gone through any?
To The Wizard of Oz. Have you ever really thought about The Wizard of Oz? What happened in that movie? A tornado
Mentally American. I'm kidding. I'm sorry, guys.
Transports a young girl and her dog to a magical land where she kills the first person she meets and then teams up with 3 strangers to kill again. In the 2022 report, Kansas declared 55 natural disasters, and since 1953, the federal government has declared 70. Number 8, Florida. This one, yeah, it surprises me because with all the hurricanes they've seen over the years, you think this would be much worse. Sure, they're in the top 10, but I mean, just when you watch the news and the history of Florida, you think they have a potential to be in the top 2. They're not. I mean, until Manatee decide they've had enough and start attacking people. Florida sees a lot of different natural disasters. Hurricanes, obviously. They've had a few winter storms. They have storm surges, wildfires, and believe it or not, they average about 60 tornadoes touch down annually in Florida. Most of them don't rise, almost all of them don't rise to the level of, major damage or a natural disaster, but they do get them. And that's a fact. I've had to look it up a couple different times. I've had people complain, I've lived in Florida my entire life. I've never seen or heard of a tornado. If you're leaving that comment, I got some bad news for you. You get about 60 a year. But hurricanes are obviously what really does damage to Florida, and which chases a lot of people away. I don't have time to list all of these hurricanes. Here's a couple of the biggest ones, and they're the bigger ones we've ever had in the nation. Hurricane Katrina. This hurricane was one of the most expensive natural disasters in United States history. Over $108 billion lost. That's not just in Florida, the entire thing. It is the 3rd most deadly hurricane in U.S. history. You had Hurricane Andrew, which just destroyed things. And in 1926, they had the Miami hurricane. This hurricane had 150-mile-an-hour winds, and it killed 372 people. The state of Florida in 2021 declared 61 natural disasters, and the federal government since 1953 has declared 130 in Florida. Number 7, New York. I don't know, maybe it's because I've spent most of my life on the West Coast. I've never heard of many in New York. I know they get some serious winter weather, but they've been hit by some
New York, the state, again, sometimes when I think about New York, I only think about the city, but it obviously has things surrounding it. So maybe, but I've never heard.
Hurricanes, or at least tropical storms that have been devastating. Now, New York shares a lot of the same problems that New Jersey does. I mean, other than and Camden. They're right next to each other, so it only makes sense. But they get severe storms, floods, winter storms, wildfire, tropical storms, tornadoes, landslides, and droughts in New York. New York's coastal location makes it susceptible to hurricanes and tropical storms every single year. Now, they don't always make it all the way up to New York, but it seems like every year at least one starts getting a little close and making people nervous. And then on the sad occasions, they hit. Hurricane Sandy, Hurricane Ida, Hurricane Ivan. In 2021, they had a winter storm and cold wave that cost $25.6 billion to the area. They've even
I mean, I didn't know that, but yeah, winter storms make sense.
Had a couple earthquakes. In 1944, they had the Cornwall-Messina earthquake, and in 2002, they had the Ausable Forks earthquake. But the big ones for New York State are going to be the winter weather. You had the 2004 Christmas Eve winter storm. They had in 2007 the North American ice storm. 1971, the Great Lakes blizzard. These have all done some serious damage. In 2021, New York State named 63 natural disasters, and the federal government since 1953 has declared 95 in New York State. Number 6, Tennessee. Tennessee sees a lot of different types of natural disasters. And I'm not even talking about their weird fascination with mullets and lamb chop sideburns. The natural disasters that Tennessee is prone to include severe storms, floods, wildfires, tornadoes, tropical storms, landslides, power outages. They're not really a natural disaster, obviously, but usually a natural disaster causes.
As a YouTuber, I couldn't do that. But that's crazy. Power outages because of what?
Them, and it creates bigger problems. They've even had a couple, but usually natural disaster causes them, and it creates bigger problems. They've even had a couple earthquakes. The most frequent natural disaster Tennessee sees is going to be the tornado. In 1952, they had the Oak Ridge tornado. In May of 2011, they had the major tornado breakout there. Flooding is another big one that happens in Tennessee. They have so many lakes, rivers, streams, creeks, whatever. They've got a lot of water everywhere.
I want to know in the comments if you guys can tell me, like, since most of you guys live in America, like, what is your experience when it comes to natural disasters? Like, is this something that crosses your mind every single day? Or are you just, like, more aware of the weather? Or, like, how does this change your life? And also, like, in case something happens, like, how do you usually react to it? Like, is it like, oh, okay, there's a tornado, like, and then you just go in your, like, I don't know, if maybe you have bunkers or something, or like, how do you live with the knowledge of, like, this could happen any day?
It causes a lot of flooding. In 2021, Tennessee declared 64 natural disasters, and the federal government has declared 69 since 1953.
I do like heavy rain and, you know, like, kind of like mid-extreme weather conditions. Obviously not natural disasters, since that, you know, takes human lives and everything. It's horrible. But like a little bit of, you know, adrenaline because the weather is crazy is okay. But this is scary. Like, this is scary. Wasn't there a fire in Hollywood as well at some point, now that I see the fire? Yeah. I don't know where I was going to get to with that point, but yeah.
Number 5, Kentucky. In just the last 2 years, Kentucky has recorded several billion-dollar events. These events include the December tornado outbreak in western Kentucky, that was in 2021, the historic flooding in eastern Kentucky in July of last year, 2022, and the March 3rd windstorm. That one impacted pretty much the entire state. But they see everything. Severe storms, floods, like I said, tornadoes, winter storms, wildfires, tropical storms get up here occasionally, along with landslides and earthquakes. Earthquakes aren't a really big thing for them, but the tornadoes and the flooding really do some damage to Kentucky. In 2021, Kentucky declared 147 natural disasters, and since 1953, the federal government has reported 74 in Kentucky. Number 4, Oklahoma. This one is sort of a no-brainer. I mean, it's in Tornado Alley. Actually, where Oklahoma is located, it's known as the Eye of Tornado Alley. Most tornadoes in Oklahoma happen between April and June. The deadliest tornado in Oklahoma's...
Are houses also built to like hold up for a tornado since they know that that's like a tornado zone? Or is that even possible? Or do they do anything differently when it comes to the infrastructure?
History was in Oklahoma City in 1999, May 3rd to be exact. It was a F5 tornado. That tornado did $1 billion in damage, and 36 people died in that tornado, with another 5 that were indirect fatalities. Oklahoma declared 155 natural disasters in 2021, and since 1953, the federal government has declared 173 natural disasters in Oklahoma.
That's horrible.
Number 3, Mississippi. Where do you start with Mississippi? I mean, the entire state can be considered a natural disaster. The Magnolia State sees severe storms.
I liked Mississippi. Come on.
Storms, hurricanes, extreme heat and drought, tornadoes, floods, winter storms, landslides, and they've had a few earthquakes. Nothing major, though. They were another state that was hit by Hurricane Katrina in 2005, and April of 2011, the tornado outbreak, which killed in total all the states, 321 people. In March of this year, President Biden declared major disasters after straight-line winds and tornadoes struck Mississippi. In 2021, Mississippi declared 202 natural disasters, and since 1953,
that's like every day of the year.
They have had 75 major natural disasters that the feds got involved in. Number 2, Louisiana. When you're talking about natural disasters in Louisiana, right away you're thinking hurricanes. They've been hit by so many hurricanes. In my lifetime alone, it's insane. Obviously, the biggest one was Hurricane Katrina in 2005. Katrina's storm surge caused levee failures in New Orleans, flooding 80% of the city. Louisiana didn't get a break. Hurricane Rita hit. This Category 3 hurricane made landfall in southwestern Louisiana less than a month after Hurricane Katrina. Way back in 92, they had Hurricane Andrew. Then, of course, Hurricane Harvey, which was a Category 4 hurricane. It made landfall in Texas and Louisiana in 2017, causing catastrophic flooding and over 100 deaths. Now, back before I was born, they had Hurricane Betsy in 1965. It struck New Orleans, causing levees to breach and flooding in more than 160,000 homes. If I was going to build a house in New Orleans, I would put it on stilts like they do in North Carolina's Outer Banks and other places. I think Texas does that too, some of their beach cities. In 2021, Louisiana declared 327 natural disasters. Since 1953, they've had 79 major natural disasters that the federal government got involved in. All right, before we get to number 1, don't forget one of our other channels is called The Sweet Life for Briggs. There's a link down below. We're starting to upload some videos here really soon. We've got a couple on there right now, but we're getting ready to upload a few others. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, Texas. Yep, everything's big in Texas, and that extends to their natural disasters. They get some pretty good ones out there. I would have thought Louisiana would have beat them, but no, here's Texas. That's obviously because it's a bigger state. They got a lot more land to have a lot more natural disasters. They get flooding, wildfires, tornadoes, hailstorms, sinkholes, erosion, and drought. They say an average of 132 tornadoes touch down in Texas.
Sorry, I was thinking... I'm just gonna let you guys in on my thoughts because a lot of the times I start thinking about something like probably stupid and I don't want to say it out loud because then people are gonna be like, are you okay in the head? But I'm just gonna say this out loud now because I want answers. I was thinking about the fact that if there was a tsunami, right? I don't know, does that like when the tsunami hits, does that fill all that like everything with water? Or is it just a wave that goes and then goes back? Like, do the buildings break? Or do they fill up with water momentarily? And if they did fill up with water momentarily, if you put buckets upside down, like a bunch of them in your house, then when your house fills up with water, wouldn't the buckets fill up with air? And then you could basically breathe until the water goes down? Does that make sense? Is that a possibility? I'm just seeing my survival percentage would probably be below 0 if that's possible, but yeah, just thoughts.
and drought. They say an average of 132 tornadoes touch down in Texas every single year. They average 900 wildfires every year. Not all of them get to epic proportion and require the National Guard or anything like that, but they got a lot of dry grassland that makes Texas particularly prone to wildfires. In its history, Texas has had the highest total costs associated with drought, severe storms, and winter storms. Now, they've been hit by some serious hurricanes. If everyone remembers a few years back, Hurricane Harvey just nailed the state. That one was so bad with the flooding and everything. People are, it's like if you owned a canoe, you could win back an old girlfriend from a really bad relationship. When Hurricane Harvey hit, I just noticed this. I was watching a lot of news at the time and watching what was happening there. And it kind of, reignited my passion for life in a way, just to see people helping each other. They didn't need to help them. These are normal citizens helping, older women out of their homes that, were maybe in a wheelchair or walker. Guy I just remember this one guy, like waist deep in water. He's got this older woman who lived a couple doors down from him, giving her a piggyback ride over a mile away in water just to get her to safety. There's so many things like that. I know it's a disaster, but it just kind of gives you...
Oh, we do have floods here, but not like anything major. There was one bigger one like 2 years ago, or a year ago, but apart from that, not really.
A hope for mankind when you see people doing things for other people that not benefiting them really. There was a quote, I think it's from a book or a movie. I heard it online, but it said, society works best when older men are planting trees they know they'll never have the pleasure of sitting in its shade. Natural disasters bring that out in human beings, and that's the best part about a natural disaster normally. Of course, then you have the other side of the coin when you have people, real estate people, developers, trying to buy homes of people that are still looking for their loved ones in Hawaii after that fire. One lady said she was getting 4 or 5 calls a day, emails, anything else. They got her information. They're trying to get a hold of her. She's trying to find like her aunt or something that's missing. Anyway, let me get off my soapbox. Texas saw 510 natural disasters in 2021. Since 1953, the federal government has declared 255 major natural disasters in Texas.
I'm moving to Idaho. Does Idaho have a lot of natural disasters? But yeah, either way, guys, that's absolutely crazy, and it's very, very heartbreaking. But that last part he said is true. I said this on live, I think last night. No, the night before that, but I was like, tragedy brings people together for some reason. There's something going on in where I live, and there's like police are flooding the streets looking for someone, and it's the first time that I've actually had conversations with my neighbors because everybody's like, "Ooh, what's going on?" So yeah, but yeah, either way, guys, thank you so much for joining me for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please leave your thoughts in the comments below, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you guys in the next video.